So, in the Pokemon Presents yesterday, we got a teaser for an upcoming Pokemon TCG expansion series, Mega Evolution. Of course, we did have Mega Evolution back in the X and Y era of the TCG, but this time it's different. Instead of evolving from a basic EX and ending your turn afterwards like they used to, they just evolve from the pre-evolution of whatever it is. So, Mega Lucario EX, one of the revealed cards, evolves from a basic Riolu. That's insane. Imagine a Mega Mewtwo X, a basic with like 330 HP or something like that. There's a lot more that we need to break down, so let's talk about it. The two Mega Evolutions revealed were Mega Lucario and Mega Gardevoir. A while ago, some internet detectives discovered that Pokemon trademarked the names of Mega Symphony and Mega Brave. And since Lucario has the attack Mega Brave and Gardevoir has the attack Mega Symphonia, this just confirms that the Japanese expansions will bear the names of these two attacks. If I had to make a guess, these Pokemon would probably come out right after the World Championships, since that's usually around the time that Pokemon makes big swings like this and adds new mechanics. And I'm sure at the World Championships we'll get some new reveals for cards from the upcoming sets, just like they've done for the past few years. It honestly feels pretty crappy that with the trainers Pokemon coming out soon, they're likely to be completely overshadowed in just a few months because of these insanely broken Mega Evolutions. It's also interesting that they made it its own expansion set. In Japan, they're literally their own thing. They're not even connected to Scarlet and Violet, which makes sense since Legends ZA isn't part of those games either, but I can't remember the last time Pokemon really did this in the main TCG. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm sure that these sets will probably be one or two of them, and they'll tide us over until the next gen of games comes out next year. The Mega Lucario is pretty interesting. 340 HP on a stage 1 is absurd, and its first attack is incredible for setting up your bench with energy. Fighting type energy acceleration has been a problem forever, so the Aura Jab attack, which does 130 damage and accelerates 3 fighting energy from the discard pile to your Pokemon, seems like the best method we will have. To get the energy there, you could play Drillbur from Temporal Forces to get exactly 3 in the discard pile. You could run a combination of Earthen Vessel and a card that discards them like Professor's Research, or you could run the Brilliant Blender Ace spec, although I think Drillbur or just using trainer cards will be the best way to go about it since you don't want to use your Ace spec on that. The second attack, Mega Brave, is unbelievably strong, dealing 270 damage for just 2 fighting energy, with the drawback being that it can't use the attack next turn. This isn't actually that much of a problem since simply switching out the active Pokemon or retreating will completely reset this downside. Now, in a format where this card exists, 270 damage might seem like it just isn't enough, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but luckily for Lucario and other fighting type Pokemon, there was an item card revealed that looks like it was made just for it. Premium Power Pro is an item card that makes your fighting type Pokemon do 30 more damage this turn. This is essentially identical to Electro Power from the Lost Thunder expansion in Sun and Moon, but for fighting types. Electro Power was incredible, and any electric type deck back then would play 4 of these, no question. So it seems like every single fighting deck in the game will be using this card probably at a 4 of count, especially in a format with Mega Evolutions having this much HP. Speaking of having a lot of HP, we now have a new record for the highest base HP in Pokemon history. A record that will probably be broken with more reveals, but it still stands. Mega Gardevoir EX has an unbelievable, ungodly 330 HP. A whole 20 more than the prior record set by Eternatus VMAX and tied by other Pokemon. Its first attack lets you accelerate psychic energy from your deck to each of your bench Pokemon, which is great, but the second attack is really where the money is. Mega Symphonia does 50 damage for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. I'm sure you already see the combo, but in case you don't, the regular Gardevoir EX from Scarlet and Violet, which shares the same evolution line, allows you to easily get your psychic energy into play as much as you want to one-shot anything in the game. This seems to me more like it would fit as a one-of in Gardevoir decks post-rotation, since using a 3-prizer in the mid-game would probably be too much investment, especially since you can use other 1-prize attackers like Drifloon or Screamtail in the early game so that you don't have to go out 3 prize cards right away. The term power creep feels like it was made specifically for these Mega Evolutions. If you don't already know, power creep is the phenomenon where, in basically any card game, the cards of the future keep getting stronger and stronger than their predecessors. Take this Mega Gardevoir and compare it to the most recent one from XY Steam Siege, and it becomes abundantly clear. Power creep actually makes some sense despite its widespread hatred among fans. Pokemon wants an incentive for players to buy new sets, so there isn't really a better way than to just make the Pokemon better. This ensures that the new Pokemon that they want you to pay for would be really strong compared to everything else. Why would you buy new expansions when all the Pokemon feel the same? Of course, new mechanics can be used for this too, but those new mechanics are exactly why power creep exists, since before Mega Evolutions we had lowercase EXs with huge HP, and before that we had VMAXs at a cap of 340, and before that the tag teams at up to 300, and before that other Mega Evolutions at a max of 240. You get the point. One thing that has the Pokemon community really upset right now is that these Mega Evolutions, unlike their predecessors, are actually worth 3 prize cards for a knockout. This, understandably, has a lot of people in pieces. Tord Reklev, the best player in the Pokemon TCG, tweeted a picture of the Mega Gardevoir with the caption 3 prize cards and a sad face. Rahul Reddy is so pissed he kept his finger on the O key for an extra 5 seconds before pressing enter. Fans are done. I honestly am not as upset about the Pokemon being worth 3 prize cards, but rather I'm more upset at the fact that because they're worth 3 prize cards, the stats have to be through the roof to compensate. Literally, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right that these Mega Evolutions come from their basic forms. Pokemon like Mega Mewtwo, Mega Rayquaza, and Mega Kangaskhan will all be basic Pokemon, even though in the past they were Stage 1 Pokemon just like all the other Mega Evolutions. This means the balance of power will only be thrown more into chaos if these basic Megas get added, but based on how the last time played out, there's no way Mewtwo and Rayquaza don't get good Mega Evolution cards. I and others really hope these Megas would be functionally similar to the break Pokemon from X and Y. In this sort of system, you would evolve, let's say Mega Gardevoir, from a regular Gardevoir or a Gardevoir EX instead of from a Kirlia, just like how you actually do in the video games. But they threw that out the window in favor of some power-crept super monsters. It honestly feels like a beginning to the end of Pokemon. And now they're kind of in an impossible situation. It's a lose-lose situation, just like Jake Paul in the Mike Tyson fight. They make the Megas too good, then they take over the game and throw Pokemon diversity into the same trash can as ADP. They make them bad, then it feels so underwhelming that those Pokemon flop despite getting loads of attention and increased stats. Honestly, Pokemon has no incentive to make these Pokemon bad, so it really only feels like they can make them good. If they do the normal strategy of making some really good and some really bad, then the diversity becomes even more of a factor, since less Pokemon will be playable because the Mega Evolutions will be dominating the game. I can't see a world where this ends and everyone is happy. But, as they say, big swings can become home runs. Or something like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribing would be greatly appreciated. I work hard to get these videos out, so doing that would mean the world to me. Anyways, take care. Have a good one.